Number 10, Zordon. Zordon of ELTAR. He was an intelligent galactic wizard, and he of course is the mentor to the Power Rangers. Now, Bryan Cranston played him in live action, and his story begins thousands of years ago. He witnessed the birth of Rita Repulsa. He actually stood at the side of Rita's mother, Lady Fianna, and Zordon even gifted her a baby rattle and was even willing to protect Fianna and Rita from Master Vile. Master Vile being Rita's father. Now, Zordon actually blames himself for failing to protect the universe on his own. So later on, when Rita sought to conquer all these worlds, Zordon was of course against this. So naturally, a war broke out. This war lasted thousands of years, and then when Rita started to serve the Great Lord Zed to conquer our planet Earth, they occupied a palace on the moon, because that's what you do when you're evil, you make a palace on the moon. While this was happening, Zordon discovered 5 power coins and a map to the Desert of Despair. Rita got the 6th coin, the Dragon Dagger, and the Dragon Zord. And as the war came to a close, Rita used her powers to banish Zordon into a time warp, where he still exists just out of normal space-time. So the only way he can communicate with the outside world is through that energy tube. That's why we just see Bryan Cranston's face, which is good enough for me. He has a great face. So next, he constructed a base of operations known as the Command Center and began assembling the Power Rangers. And before we continue on with this list of powerful Power Rangers, guys, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, we really appreciate your support, especially while we're working from home again. So if you want to give this video a like, that would be great. Let's get right back to this video. You guys are the best. Number 9, Lord DRAKKON. He made his first appearance in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 9. He's a supervillain and an evil Power Ranger who controls the Black Dragon. He's the main antagonist during the Shattered Grid event. He's a pretty big deal. He also happens to be an older version of Tommy Oliver. He's actually from an alternate reality where he ruled over a technologically advanced Angel Grove. He was their oppressive ruler who had an army of Ranger sentries. Now, Lord DRAKKON is super intelligent. He manipulates Rita of the main continuity and also Rita from the world of the Coinless. In issue 9, it was revealed that Lord DRAKKON had been controlling his Black Dragon and was speaking through it as well. So once he achieved his final evolution, DRAKKON gained the ability to modify the universe. He underestimates his opponents, he's egotistical, and he thinks he's superior to any Ranger or God. So that's great. Number 8, Matthew Cook, the new Green Ranger. He made his first appearance in Go-Go Power Rangers issue 1. He's 16 years old, he likes football, pistachios, and bubble wrap. Don't we all? And he has a pretty wild day at school when he witnesses Kim activate her Gravesword. So he quickly put it together that his best friends are actually the Power Rangers. He approaches them, he's like, hey, I promise I won't tell. This is so great, please let me in. He's kind of a jock, but he's also quite friendly. He assisted the Rangers on a need-to-know basis. He didn't actually reveal himself to the public until Angel Grove was trapped by Lord Zed. Now, his Green Ranger form is different than Lorianne and Tommy's because Matthew has this extra golden trim on his suit as well. It's this glowing white trim that he has on his arms and his legs. Looks really cool. This power was given to him by Grace Sterling through the Dragon Power Coin. So when he finds out about his friends being Rangers, he wants them to tell him. He gets so angry when they don't tell him, but hey, it's just part of the rules of the Ranger. It's not their fault. He was so upset that he actually stopped dating Kimberly. And then finally, when he wanted to spark that relationship back up, it was too late because Kimberly was already taken by another Ranger. Too slow, Matthew. Number 7, Ranger Slayer. The Ranger Slayer made their first appearance in Go-Go Power Rangers issue 8. She's another version of Kimberly from the world of the Coinless, who used to serve under Lord DRAKKON. Before she escaped, she was brainwashed. She's the leader of the Promethea Rangers, and after the defeat of DRAKKON, she became the new leader of her world. She restored peace and brought it back to living conditions once DRAKKON was out of the picture. Now, she lost Billy, Jason, and Matthew of her world to the hands of DRAKKON, so now she opts to work alone in order to protect her friends. The power coin was returned to her, and combined with the new evil energy of the Bow of Darkness, she became the Ranger Slayer. She used her bow mainly in combat, which makes for really exciting action scenes, but she also has these futuristic bombs when she fights, so double combo. Number 6, Jason, Red Ranger. He made his first appearance in issue 13 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Jason Lee Scott was chosen by Zordon to be the Red Ranger. He obtains the Tyrannosaurus Power Coin, Blade Blaster, and Power Sword. Now, he used to be a bully like Bulk and Skull, but he changed once he started to take on karate classes. He was determined to be a better person because, well, bullies suck. Now, cut to 6 years later, he's now teaching said classes, so he's a quick learner, and also now he's passing on his knowledge. We love growth. We love to see it. After he became the Red Ranger, he still kept those lovable qualities as a leader and teacher. So Jason is the first to attempt to correct something if it goes south. He's the one to gather the troops, but the thing about Jason is he also beats himself up when things don't work out. Like, for example, he blamed himself for years for allowing Tommy to lose his Green Ranger powers. Number 5, KTYA. After the universe went back to normal following the events with Lord DRAKKON, the alien KTYA got these amazing abilities, these electricity-based powers. Now, these powers resulted resulted in the passing of her family, so she left. She actually was literally chased out of her home. And then she found herself with trainee Jason and Zach as one of the Omega Rangers. She was a great fighter and easily ahead of the rest of the team, but those family traumas were just still lurking around her brain. She was having a tough time coping with it, so much so that she eventually became their enemy, sadly. She took out the blue emissary and had her scope set next on the Power Rangers. Now, the reason she flipped was because she believed that the Power Rangers were just creating another DRAKKON to go and take over the universe. So she acted out. I mean, more than fair. You were chased out of your village, you had a horrible childhood. It's normal for you to think these things. Powerful yet conflicted. Number 4, Tommy Oliver, the White Ranger. Tommy gets quite a bit of attention in these stories and movies. Now, most of us, like myself, picture Jason David Frank when we mention Tommy Oliver. He's like the face of my childhood. And his time as the White Ranger is perhaps one of the most notable. See, as the White Ranger, Tommy had a mythical sword to go along with his drop kicks. Now, these swords are neat because they obtain the personality of that who was wielding it. You know, they're a bond, they're a weapon bond. The first 2 White Rangers were the leaders of their teams, and believe it or not, the White Ranger was never actually originally planned. It was the fans who wanted more once he left the show as a Green Ranger, fun fact. So they used the White Ranger as a mysterious way to bring him back in. It was Tommy's White Ranger who used a single Zord in a fight, whereas others needed to combine their Zords. His would act by itself, how cool is that? And to make the White Ranger more unique, he's immune to the forces of evil. Hallelujah. Number 3, the Psycho Rangers. We're the Psycho Rangers. We're faster than you, we're smarter than you, we're stronger than you, but we're evil. Cool, put that on your resume, it's a great introduction. The Psycho Rangers are the evil versions of the Space Rangers. They were created from the evil Princess Astronema in order to take the power of her master, Dark Spectre. They hunted down the Power Rangers by tracking their energy, voices, and communicator noises. Now, these Psycho Rangers are cool because they all have a specific fighting style that's unbeatable to their respective color on the good team. With, of course, Psycho Red leading the team. They were made to defeat the Power Rangers, but also they were made to weaken the Dark Spectre. See, the fun thing about these guys off the bat is that they have a monster form as well. So Red Monster was a flame monster, Blues was an ice monster, Black was a stone monster, Yellow was a spider/hornet monster, nightmares, and Pink was a plant monster. So the good Rangers had a plan. They all dressed up the exact same as the Blue Ranger, and since the evil Blue fought a specific way, they were all able to team up and take him down. I'd be fine turning into a plant, but there's no way I'd want to become a spider/hornet. That's a hard pass. Number 2, Shredder. Oroku Saki, aka Shredder, is the leader, of course, of the Foot Clan, and he's the villain of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise. But in this lovely crossover with the Power Rangers, he was even more menacing. The crossover took place in December 2019 when the Power Rangers arrive in New York City looking for the Green Ranger, and they're shocked when they see he's joined forces with Shredder and the Foot Clan. I wouldn't even know what to talk about first. I'm like, is that Donatello? Can I have some pizza? And what are you doing? Now, in a world where Shredder exists, of course, the Turtles have to exist as well. It's super fun until Shredder takes the Dragon Power Coin and the Power Morpher from Tommy. Now, Shredder is now the 3rd evil incarnation of the Green Ranger, right after Lorianne and Lord Drakkon. And finally, number 1, the Magna Defender. The Magna Defender was one of the many who fought in the battle that happened over 3,000 years ago. He was once a guardian to the lights of Orion. That was until the Magna Defender's homeworld was overrun by the evil Scorpius and his monsters. Sadly, his son Zyka was taken out in this battle when he was used as a shield for Scorpius. What a horrible way to go out. That and the destruction of their homeworld makes for one lone warrior out for revenge. He arrived to the jungle planet of Miranoi to release the lights of Orion, and when he lost a battle to Trecheron, he then fell into a pit gravely injured, where he then remained for years. Now eventually Mike Corbett, brother of Leo Corbett, the leader of the Galaxy Rangers, fell into the same pit. So the Magna Defender possessed his body and escaped the pit and went after Scorpius and the lights of Orion. Now he used his Taurizord and battled several times, just desperate for revenge. But he was also an enemy of the Rangers because, well, he was careless with civilians while he was fighting. He was a danger. When the Magna Defender was wounded, his son Zyka came back to him and said that he believed in him to make the right choice. And so then he sacrificed his life. That's right, Magna threw himself into the energy pit to neutralize its energy and save Terra Ventura, and in doing so, Mike was also released. He uses the Magna Sword to deliver an energy chop, and he can also create a force cage with it as well. He just throws the sword into the ground and bam, it generates this huge cube-shaped barrier around their target. It's pretty cool stuff. Kicking off the list at number 10, Eric Myers. The 6th Ranger of the Time Force Guardians, Eric Myers is a Quantum Ranger. Now, in his early days, Eric was a soldier working for the Silver Guardians, which was established by Wes Collins' father in order to protect Silver Hills. See, Wes was kind of the opposite of Eric. See, basically, they went to the same private school, but Eric had to work hard as a student, and Wes, alongside other snobby students, didn't really have to try hard. He was one of those kids, you know, in one of those schools. So they didn't get along naturally. So Eric refused to take advantage of Wes. He's just doing it himself, right? He wanted to study and get it done his own way rather than have the rich kid help him. So then he discovered that Wes was the Red Time Force Ranger, and then soon Eric became aware that the Time Force Rangers are looking for the quantum powers. And Eric just happened to get to it first. And then Eric became the Quantum Ranger himself. Now, he helped the Rangers from time to time, reluctantly though. And then when Eric was hurt near the end of the season from a Cyclobot, he handed his morpher over to Wes to step up and take over. Now, when Eric recovered, Wes gave him back his morpher, and then a new friendship has now begun. So they get along in the end. How nice. When the Rangers left for the future, Wes was left in charge of the Silver Guardians, and his new partner was now his new friend, Eric. And before we continue on with this list of powerful Power Rangers Part 2, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. It's really helpful. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's get right back into this list. Number 9, Jen Scott. The Pink Time Force Ranger had a pretty wild start to her heroic days. Now cut to the year 3000. Jen is now an officer for the Time Force Police, and crime was basically non-existent at this point, except for that pesky Rancic. Now Rancic was arrested and taken on trial at this time with the Red Force Ranger Alex bringing them in. Now Jen went to the trial with Alex because at the time they were dating. So after Rancic was captured, he proposed to Jen. How lovely was that? No more crime, open bar, let's dance. So she said yes, and all was great, but while transporting Rancic to the cryo prison, the team was attacked. Now right before Rancic escaped to the past, Looper style, they unfortunately killed Alex. So with Alex's final breath, he charged up the team, Jen, Lucas, Trip, and Katie, and they all traveled back to the past to find Rancic. Now Jen got his red chronomorpher and told her about the 4 others that could be used to become Time Force Rangers, so they traveled back to 2001 and arrived in Silver Hills. But at this point, they needed a Red Ranger, so they went back to Wes Collins, that guy I just mentioned, who just happened to look identical to Alex, which is a fun coincidence. And then Jen became the Pink Time Force Ranger and leader of the team. Number 8, Adam Park. Adam met Tommy, Kimberly, and Billy at first after he saved a baby with his friends. It was pretty epic. What an introduction. So he lived in Stone Canyon, California, but was visiting Angel Grove competing in Team Ninja. See, he was representing Stone Canyon. Now, Lord Zed saw how this dude could kick ass, so he and his 2 friends got kidnapped and put in the Dimension of Despair. The Power Rangers saved the day, but Adam and his friends saw their true identity when Tommy and Kimberly had to remove Billy's helmet after fighting the Serpent of Darkness. So Kimberly and Tommy at this point were like, you know what? We're good friends too. We're gonna also remove our helmets. Let's do it. That's what friends do. So Adam and his friends, Rocky and Aisha, were actually taken to the command center afterwards to meet Zordon. How cool is that? Sworn to secrecy, of course. So down the road, when the Rangers were heading to Switzerland for the World Peace Conference, Adam was picked to take Zach's place as the Black Power Ranger, with Rocky and Aisha taking over Jason and Trini's place as well. Guys, be there for your friends. You might just become a Power Ranger. Who knows? Number 7, Tori Hansen. The Blue Wind Ranger, and also the first female Blue Power Ranger in TV history. Ayo. She's from the Ninja Rangers, and one of the biggest things that stands out with Tori is that she's great at resolving conflicts with her words, rather than just, you know, kicking people in the neck. She does, however, still train at the Wind Ninja Academy, so if she had to, she could still right in your neck easily. She's a great surfer as well on her spare time. She's fast also, like really fast. She possesses superhuman speed. She can move faster than the human eye can see, and if she focuses hard enough, she can fight off mental attacks as well. How amazing is that? Surfing, fighting skills, super speed. So it'll come to no surprise that she can bend water as well as walk on it. This girl's literally Jesus. And she rides in style with a dolphin Zord as well, in case you don't believe the whole water thing. She's very into water. Number 6, Ryan Mitchell, the Titanium Ranger. That even sounds cool saying it out loud. See, Ryan's part of the Lightspeed Rangers, and it all started with a car accident when he was young, as most of these things usually start with a tragedy. Now, this wasn't your usual fender bender either. See, it was Ryan, his sister, and his father, and they were hanging over a cliff at one point. It was super intense. It was crazy. So Ryan was hanging onto his father's shoe, which is so scary, and that's when the spirit of Diabolico showed up and offered a deal, kind of like Mephisto, just popping up and being like, how can I help? Diabolico would save the child, but then he would raise the kid himself until his 20th birthday. So Ryan fell, and his father just had to agree at that point, right? He had no choice. Nothing like being raised by a demon. Good times. So while being raised, he was convinced that his father had actually rejected him rather than what really happened. And he favored his sister Dana, which wasn't true. She was also a Power Ranger at this point. So now he's becoming evil and he hates the Power Rangers naturally. So now down the road, Diabolical sent Ryan on this mission. The mission was to steal the prototype titanium morpher from their Aqua base and destroy the Rangers, including his sister Dana. Now Captain Mitchell saved the day by reminding Ryan of his childhood, where he snapped out of it and then joined the Lightspeed Rangers after all. Number 5, Andros. The Red Space Ranger, so the leader of the Space Rangers. Andros is pretty unique. He's a human from a colony in space called KO-35, where telekinesis is a thing you can just obtain and have, kind of like in Looper. A lot of similarities to Looper in this one. So after the Turbo Rangers command center was destroyed, they left Earth, and that's when Andros found them. So even in space, you can still have a wild childhood as well. So when Andros was a kid, his sister Corone was kidnapped by Darkonda, so he made it his lifelong goal to find her, obviously. So him and his pal Zane joined the KO-35 army in hopes of becoming Power Rangers, and eventually they were both selected by Zordon himself to become the galaxy's first Space Rangers. And they were just given a spaceship. They were given the Astro Mega ship and then 4 other Astromorphers to assemble a squad down the road as well. Zane as well becoming the Silver Space Ranger. Now during a battle, however, with one of the Dark Spectre's monsters, Zane was injured badly. It wasn't looking good. So he had to be kept in a cryogenic tube inside the ship, Bucky Barnes style. Number 4, Anubis Doggy Kruger. Perhaps one of the most memorable characters I think on this list. Doggy is, well, a little bit different. Doggy is a Syrian, a cool combo of a human and a jackal. He is the SPD Shadow Ranger and also the commander of SPD's Earth branch until he got promoted to Supreme Commander of Space Patrol Delta. Now the first Space Patrol Delta was formed years back when Emperor Groom attacked their homeworld planet of Sirius with his Trubian forces. Now unfortunately they lost this battle and Sirius was destroyed, with Kruger waking up all alone on the planet with everybody else gone. What a tragic start. So when General Benag came to Earth later on, it brought back all these memories for Commander Kruger, and with the help of the B Squad Rangers, Commander Kruger faced his past and Benag. Now Cat Manx had also made Kruger a new compact device, so SPD Patrol Morpher, which allowed him to become the Shadow Ranger. Number 3, Sydney Drew. Sydney Drew is the SPD Pink Ranger. Now she comes from a rich family and she's kind of spoiled, not gonna lie. She's a model, singer, and she's actually great at fencing because, you know, one way or another, you still have to be a Power Ranger. Now, she's one of the 2 original SPD B Squad members next to Sky and Bridge. Now, on her birthday, she was only looking out for herself. She wanted to just do things for herself, not really include anybody else. And Jack Landers, the Red Ranger, made her do a scouting job on her birthday, which I gotta say, it's her birthday. Let her relax a little. I mean, we get it. You're trying to change character, but it's her birthday. It's one day a year, come on. So she was annoyed until she realized that Jack didn't even have a birthday to begin with. So she changed her ways and made it a 2-for-1 birthday. So she turned her spoiled behavior around, and I mean, honestly, you love to see it. She was the daughter of a scientist, one of 5 that was exposed to this radiation, which gave them super abilities. So Sydney has these iron fists. Well, actually, she can transform into any element. She just needs to touch it. Hence the iron nugget on her belt. Number 2, Cam Watanabe. He's the son of Sensei Kenoe Watanabe, head of the Wind Ninja Academy, so you already know this dude is gonna drop you. He's sarcastic, cynical, but also quite intelligent. He was skilled but never was allowed to become a ninja himself, which always bugged him growing up. As, you know, rightfully so, that would bug me as well. But he did mentor the students during this, so he was part of the team, you know? Wasn't a ninja, but he helped them out, so close enough. Now after Lathor sucked the academy into the sky, he took 3 students, Shane, Dustin, and Tori, to this underground dojo. Now his father instructed him to give the students Wind Morphers, and they became the Wind Rangers. Now his job on the team was to create all these cool gadgets. He was the gadget guy. He was brilliant, so he created power spheres, he created Zords, and other weapons for the team. Now when his father was captured by the Thunder Rangers, Cam created a force field to protect him. Cam also discovered the missing piece to combine the Thunder Megazord with the Storm Megazord, so this guy's killing it. And finally, number 1, MERRICK BALITON. Lunar Wolf Ranger MERRICK BALITON is a member of the Wild Force Power Rangers. He's one of the most powerful when it comes to abilities. Now, he used to be a soldier from the land of Animarium thousands of years ago, but then he put on a legendary wolf mask with great powers found at Nazar's temple, and he was able to save the day. But the thing was, that mask was kind of haunted. I don't know, it wasn't removable, so it messed his life up a bit. He eventually became the evil Zen Aku. Now, the ancient warriors had no choice but to imprison him in a tomb. I mean, obviously, you can't put this guy anywhere, just sorry, go away. He wanted to be put out, but they were like, no, we can't do that. We have to just put you in this tomb. Now cut to present day, the new Master Orc freed Zenaku and hopes to use him against the Rangers, but once a month on the night of a new moon, he would regain his memories, but then after come sunset, he would go back into beast mode. But once he gained control of his powers, he became the Lunar Wolf Ranger, and he's one of the most powerful, hence why we put him at number 1.
Number 10. He's Tommy Oliver. At this point, I feel like everyone knows this one, but it just had to be on there because it's crucial for his character and his character's motivations. Now, he's not the Tommy Oliver we all know. He's an older one from an alternate reality, and one that wants nothing more than to destroy the Power Rangers. I feel like regardless, Lord Drakkon would have been fairly popular even if it wasn't Tommy, but making him Tommy was genius. It established a connection to the Power Rangers unlike anything we have ever seen. I mean, this was a member of their team. Not the one they knew personally, but still, seeing an alternate version of your friend who you knew and you loved would be difficult for anyone because he is clearly in pain. Oh, God, it's such an amazing story. Number 9, created the Ranger Slayer. Yep, Lord Drakkon created the Ranger Slayer. He's basically the gift that keeps on giving because he's not only awesome, but so is the Ranger Slayer. If you don't know, the Ranger Slayer is Kimberly Hart from that alternate universe. She became known as the Ranger Slayer after she was brainwashed by Drakkon. Drakkon killed some of her former teammates, which was the reason she chose to take him on herself. She ended up losing to him in a battle. He then brainwashed her and she became known as the Ranger Slayer. She controls the Bow of Darkness and became this badass ranger who killed a lot of other Power Rangers. Number 8, caused the biggest battle in Power Rangers history. During his run in the comics, Drakkon started something that will go down in history as the biggest Power Ranger event/battle ever. Shattered Grid. It brought together every single Power Rangers team, like ever, and they all banded together to take on Drakkon and his armies. It was legendary and will probably be the biggest, / coolest one we will ever actually see. I mean, the legendary battle from Power Rangers Super Mega Force tried to do something kind of similar by bringing together all the former Ranger teams, but it just didn't work as well. Especially since we only saw a handful of Rangers unmorphed. The rest didn't talk and stayed in their suits the whole time, so it kind of took away from their return. Number 7, his suit. One of the coolest things about Drakkon is his suit. It's a mix of Tommy's Green Ranger suit and White Ranger suit. And it looks amazing. Plus, it evolved over the course of the series, once he started collecting more Ranger powers. But in the comics, Zordon was in the middle of giving Jason the White Ranger abilities when Drakkon intervened and took them for himself, and it ended up merging with his own, already Green Ranger power, and created this whole new suit. Also, it instantly made him one of the strongest Rangers right on the spot, since the green and white are both very powerful on their own. Put them together and you have this unstoppable duo. Number 6, killed a lot of Power Rangers. This is where he has a lot of other Power Rangers villains beat. Well, I mean, the Psycho Rangers have done this too, and the Ranger Slayer, just not on the scale of Drakkon. But, as the title suggests, he killed a lot of Power Rangers and stole their powers for not only himself, but his sentries. He had a connection to the Morphin Grid like no other Ranger has ever had, because he had the Morphers from all different types of Ranger teams. And the interesting thing was that it turns out that he only needed one Morpher from each team to grant him that specific connection to the Morphin Grid. The rest he just gave to his sentries, which actually is a perfect introduction into Number 5, he created the Ranger Sentries. As I just mentioned, he took powers from different Rangers, and what he didn't keep he gave to his Sentries, which were like his Power Ranger soldiers. Now they would take on a similar look to whatever power they took from, so you had some from all different Power Ranger seasons, which was very cool to see. They weren't as powerful as some of the Rangers, but they were close, and were skilled enough to take them on in a fight. And there were hundreds of these guys, which makes it even scarier. Imagine seeing an army of them, and they were just had all these weapons coming at you. I mean, they would make for a formidable foe, that is for sure. Number 4, chose to stay evil. This is one of the most interesting things about Drakkon. He chose to stay evil. Unlike the Tommy of the main Earth, who, after being freed from Rita's spell, he chose to join the Rangers and become a force for good. This Tommy, however, decided to stay evil and wanted nothing more than to destroy the Power Rangers. It was an interesting twist and really changed the way we looked at that version of Tommy. Clearly, he was a damaged guy, I mean, he was put under a spell and forced to be evil by Rita. And people always wondered, what would have happened if he didn't join the Rangers? Well, now we got to see it, and it was done so well. Number 3, consistently got more powerful. When he first got introduced, Lord Drakkon was already very powerful, but as the series went on, he just kept getting more and more powerful. Like, during Shattered Grid, he was basically a god. He had taken so many ranger powers that he just basically couldn't be stopped, and it was cool to see. All the different versions of his suits have already become very popular for cosplayers. I mean, just Google it and you can see. Plus, it was cool to see how it evolved and changed over time as he took another ranger power for himself. Number 2, already appeared in live action. As soon as he was introduced, people started saying, when are we going to see Drakkon in live action? And will Jason David Frank, who plays Tommy, be able to play him? Well, fans got their wish. While promoting the Shattered Grid event, Boom Studios made a teaser trailer for it, and Jason David Frank got the chance to play Drakkon for real. And fans freaked out. I mean, they loved it. He donned the costume and everything. I wish they brought him into the TV show and made him the villain for the 25th anniversary, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Regardless, we still got to see Jason David Frank play Lord Drakkon, and it was awesome. Who knows? I don't know, maybe he will get the chance to play him again one day. Maybe there's gonna be an episode where Drakkon shows up in the TV. Who knows? It's a possibility. Number 1. He's not the first Lord Drakkon. This one is super interesting. During the comics, when Rita was trying to bring Tommy back to her side, she brings up someone that she used to know, named Drakkon. He was this warrior that conquered his world and was, insanely powerful. Tommy ends up really liking that name because, of course, he ends up taking on and becoming the new Lord Drakkon. I wonder if soon we will see the original return. I think that'd be really cool. And it opens up a lot of different story possibilities, which we might end up seeing down the line. Because, more Drakkon is always a good thing.